Hi friends, welcome to PSC Collegiate English. Today let us look at the essay A Room of One's Own, which was published in 1928. It is a seminal essay by Virginia Woolf. Here we can see the early development stages of feministic theories where women like Helen Sixsue and Elaine Showalter have claimed to have a creature of women's writing, that they should have a separate women should start writing themselves, they should use women's language, all the stuff. We can see the blooming of such radical thoughts in this seminal essay. The lecture were conceived when laws changed in Britain to allow women to vote. Virginia Woolf was asked to lecture on the topic Women and Fiction. Her thesis is that a woman needs money and room of her own if she is to write fiction. She does not name her narrator. She says, name is not important because she represents every woman. Narrating her day at a fictional university of Oxbridge, she seizes upon some thoughts and rushes across the college lawn, but is stopped by Beadle, a guard, who tells her that the lawn is only for fellows and scholars who were mostly men. We must remember the name Oxbridge. That is a fictional university. Now, inspired by the bright conversation of men and women, she has dinner at the fictional women's college called Fernham. Please do remember the names Oxbridge University and Fernham University. Here, the meal is simple and conversation is gossipy. Virginia Woolf shows us the distinction between Oxbridge University, which has male scholars, and Fernham University, which is mostly a women's college. There, she says, in Oxbridge University there are better libraries, better food is provided, whereas in the Fernham University everything is simple and in a moderate level. She says that women are shut out of education and the financial and intellectual legacy. Next day, she happens to visit British Library and she finds that it is masculine institution. There are shelves of writing by men about women, but she detects anger and curiosity in men's scholarship. There are so many feminists who have spoken about men's language, men gaze, male gaze and all. They say that men write in a language in order to isolate women. That is the same point that Virginia Woolf also convinces. She theorizes that women have been a mirror in which men have seen themselves enlarged and strengthened, and that men have used their literature and scholarship to affirm the inferiority of women, mostly to protect their superiority. Looking back on the legacy of women writers, the narrator hardly finds any information about average woman's life. When men write about women, they write only of the stuff which interests them. They do not look into the inner lives of women. Virginia Woolf imagines a character called Judith Shakespeare, who is Shakespeare's sister. She says she is a woman with potential for genius, but is not able to write a word and ends up committing suicide because the way society is structured against women. But now it has become possible for women to write. She lists history of women writers and their influence on each other. With each generation, women should be able to write incandescent poetry as Shakespeare. But the library of literature produced by women is fraught with bitter, twisted stories that are unable to rise above the poverty and limitation imposed on the sex. She charges the women of Newham and Girton colleges to create a legacy for their daughters. She says, fiction is for universal good. She also says, poets never really die. Her audience have the opportunity to bring Judith to life. Here, Virginia Woolf has created has imagined if even if Shakespeare had a sister called Judith Shakespeare, and she also possessed the same level of competence that Shakespeare possessed, she was not in a position to support her writing. Now, in the lecture Women and Fiction, Virginia Woolf tells her audience that they can bring Judith Shakespeare to life through their art, through their work. Virginia Woolf has also created this imaginary writer called Mary Carmichael, and this particular imaginary character has written a work called Life's Adventure. Thank you.